You have arrived at your destination.
You are listening to Zilla, the podcast, right here on the DNN, the Destination Nation Network. I'm Ed, and I'm here with Stefan, and what's his name? And we are going to talk about some shit for the next hour.
The name's Bradzilla, motherfucker.
And we're going to have a good time. It's Zilla, the podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to
Zilla, the podcast.
That's right, bitches. This is Zilla, the podcast, and I am your host, Stefan Zilla, here with my main man, what's his name?
Bradzilla, the longest reigning SWE Southern Wrestling Entertainment heavyweight champion of all time.
Trust me, it's got to be true. He posted it on Facebook today.
I did.
So I guess that's your thing today that you wanted to talk about. You know, we always talk a little bit about what's going on with each other.
Facebook official.
Hey, guests, shut up. We're not to you yet. God, Jesus.
Hey, guest, wait until we imaginarily bring you into the box that you've actually been in the entire 6 minutes, okay?
Oh, you mean we're doing like we do on our old show, which is we ignore the guests?
Yes.
We just wait for you to come in?
You're
For
not
at least
here
4 to
yet.
6 minutes.
You're in the shower with Brian.
Get in the shower with Brian, Ed.
Hey, Brian!
All right, but yeah, so that's cool. I didn't know that. Did you just find that out today, or like, did you know that?
So a few years back, I won my first heavyweight title with Southern Wrestling Entertainment out of Brooks, Kentucky. And I just remembered the other day I still have the title belts. After the company kind of like went on hiatus, I'm
That's
like,
even better.
I'm still the longest reigning heavyweight champion of Southern Wrestling Entertainment of all the time.
That makes it even better. That you're like, I still got the belt, so it's still mine.
Yeah, it's mine.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not.
The only thing I've got is that I'm the longest reigning. I was able to burp the entire alphabet in 3rd grade on the playground, and no one could ever get to Z but me. I did it both. Every letter was a burp, and then I did the entire alphabet in one burp. Don't ask me to do it now. I just had wings. I'm going to throw up if I do it.
With the worst service we ever experienced
Yeah,
in
with the
any
worst
restaurant.
service at bdubs.com. But no, things are going good, man.
Yeah.
You know, we got our improv stuff going on. We're teaching and we're doing shows and we're having fun. Zilla Vlogs is killing it, man.
Dude.
Like the 4th one, I gotta give it to you.
My God.
It was hilarious. And I put it out there. I said, you know, hey guys, this is my favorite episode, and I'm not even in it.
Yeah, that episode was literally I left work, and after a day of sitting in a room surrounded by 4 walls for 12 hours, I just had this inspiration driving home of I need to record some shit because I have this idea in my mind. I got home, and like you taught me, if it's fresh, do it. Don't wait. Just record it while it's fresh.
Yeah, in the day and age that we're in, you don't have to wait.
No.
Like, if you've got an idea, you've got a phone.
I recorded it. It took me an hour to record. It took me 3 hours to edit, and then it turned into a minute and 50-second video.
Dude, it's one of my favorite ones. Get on YouTube, search Zilla Vlogs. It's so funny. It's so good.
thank
yeah,
you.
I guess this is all about Brad this week.
It is.
I've got stuff going on, but not like that.
No, let's talk about you, man. So you are making a life-changing move. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm officially trying to make a life-changing move to get out of 9-to-5 work and do improv and teach improv and perform improv for a living.
Yeah.
And it's on its way. I'm going to be doing some workshops for some students through Floyd County. I'm going to be doing workshops through HWA Talent, teaching drop-in classes there. And I'm doing an intensive this it'd be today when this airs. But tonight, I'm doing an intensive. But yeah, it's fun, man. Like, I'm getting to the point where if I keep this up, I might be able to quit. Even though, hey, I love my job at Gen Tux. I love those guys, man.
Oh, yeah.
I get to bring Kenobi every day. But, you know, if I am able to actually get out of there, I could just stay at home with Kenobi every day. That's my dog.
I guess we can officially say, so with my new job change, and then your new like goals in terms of what we're driving towards, Zilla Entertainment Group just took their fucking training wheels off.
Yes, Zilla Entertainment Group is happening. In fact, we just talked today about producing a fucking Broadway review.
Yeah, boy.
There's nothing we won't touch.
Yes, girl.
Yeah, we'll touch anything. And you know who I really want to touch is our
Ed.
guest. Yes.
I want to touch Ed.
Exactly.
I'm ready to touch Ed.
So,
Who's
so
not?
let me introduce.
Damn it! Wait till we introduce you, Ed.
I know, man. I got you got to give me some breath so I can put some intro music in there or some shit. But no, Ed. I want to introduce Ed. Ed and I go way back. Randomly. We'll get into that in a second. But he's a very near and dear friend of mine, and just a swell guy. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Black. All right, Ed, man, woo! Thank you, dude. Dude, thank you so much for coming out and doing this.
Who canceled, by the way?
No one.
I mean,
I
like
legit.
the guest that you have when somebody
here's the
cancels.
funny thing: we did have someone cancel, but it wasn't your slot. We do 2 slots every time we record.
Yep.
And I wanted you. Like
He
you've
wants
had
me.
me. I've always wanted you.
You were slot 1 from the get-go.
Yeah, I wanted your slot,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. No, but dude, you've had me on your radio show so many times, which we'll get to and stuff like that. I'm like, I want to return the favor. And I thought it'd be really, really cool. And this podcast is about the entertainment biz. And so you've had your hands in both radio and stand-up. And we thought that those would be really great, cool things to do. So, yeah. Hey, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you for that long-winded intro, my good dear friend. How are you, Stefan? God,
I'm
I haven't
good.
seen
Fuck you.
guys.
You're not interviewing. Fuck you.
Hi, Ed. My name is Bradzilla. I've been
Hi,
sitting
Brad,
over here.
Bradzilla over here. Give
This
it
is
up for
Bradzilla.
Bradzilla.
Yay.
Come on.
Yay!
He's got his hands in a bunch of like wrestling things.
Yeah.
Hands in some shit. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Sounds
No,
good.
man, I'm excited to have you here. Yeah, we haven't had Ed, like, we usually have Ed come in and run lights for any improv shows that we do when we have a light board. Well, we haven't had any shows that required a light board, which sucks because,
Yeah,
that
I
means
know.
we're bad about being friends.
Well, for a while there, I was wondering if like Damaged Goods was even still doing shows. I'm like, did Stefan and Parker break up? Oh,
Damaged
it's like-
Goods is on hiatus right now for a
Oh.
good while. Rocky had a baby, and we
Yes.
just found out is having another baby.
What? Number 2 is on the way?
Literally, this man did not wait. It is due the same time, essentially, as the other baby was due, but this year, which
Holy
means
cow.
she healed up, and they were like, "Let's roll." So that already, like, just the baby, the first couple months already put us on hiatus. This is gonna knock us back even further, but that's okay. Damaged Goods was kind of winding down a little bit, and so everybody's gonna do their own thing. But we're not done. We still got our podcast. We do occasionally, and we tour and we do things. But
He'll just buy Parker some chocolates and some roses.
exactly.
Everything will be patched up and back.
No,
to
I got a
order.
new girlfriend, and his name is Brad.
Can I get a chocolate rose?
No, Brad and I are doing Zilla Improv, man,
Yeah,
and the
boy.
Louisville Improv Collective, dude, and I'm killing it. But no, we got some. We legit.
I'm killing it.
I am. Fuck you. I'm proud of myself, man.
Not we, it is I.
I've always, leaned on others for success, and I'm not doing that. Now we share it.
We share this.
Yes, like a fucking shake,
Like
a
a
malt.
Like a shake weight.
In the 50s. No, shake, man. 2 straws.
I really wanted you to grip me between 2 hands and really shake me.
I mean, I can do that,
All right.
but I'm tired.
We'll be right
Come
back
on,
after
grip
this
me.
sponsor.
Grip me.
Ed wants gripped. No, let's get cracking. I actually
Yeah.
wrote questions down for this.
Oh, look, he's got questions.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
got
a
questions.
card.
He's prepared.
So I want to first talk about stand-up because that's how I first met you. You were a stand-up. You're still a stand-up
I'm
guy.
still stand-up, man.
You're still a stand-up guy.
Even
No,
though he is sitting
but
down
when I
right
first
now.
met you, that was
Oh.
pretty much what you were doing. And and you came and auditioned for us and things like that.
And didn't make the cut.
Don't worry, Parker didn't make the cut the first time with our old troupe. It happens to everybody. But no, that's where I met you, and then we just kept crossing paths.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so the question I have for you is, because we haven't had anybody that does stand up yet, and so the question I have is, how did you get your start in stand up? How did that even come about?
Okay, well, how I got my start in stand-up is that, I don't know if you even know this about me, is that I started out as a roller rink disc jockey.
No, we have talked about that because
I did.
at the
I
Damage
did.
Good shows, I always said that you sounded like a roller skate DJ. I was like, man, you should go work at the roller skating rink, and you were like, I did.
I did.
I just fell in
It
love
is
with Ed.
true. It is true.
Yep.
Skate World out on Preston Highway. That was
Yes,
my
girl.
first gig as a roller rink DJ.
How old were you?
I was right out of high school, like 18 years old.
So were you
18.
picking up those chicks that just turned 18?
Man, if you love jailbait, oh, that is the
It's
job.
Preston
man.
Highway.
The 16, 17-year-old girls, they love you to death when
Right.
you're the roller rink DJ. And but I wasn't willing to go to jail for any of them.
Of course, yeah. You're still here, so it's proof.
I wasn't willing to go to jail.
Damn it, Ed!
I know. I know. It's always that moral side of me that goes, no, you really shouldn't.
It's
mess
that
with
moral 21st century side of us, you know.
Yeah, you really shouldn't mess with the 16-year-old girls. But no, I started in the roller rinks, and really, as a roller rink DJ, I kind of wanted to be like the Howard Stern of the roller rink. Really, I mean, I wanted to be like the rebel rock and roll DJ.
Right, yeah.
I was like one of the first DJs to ever play Eminem's "My Name Is" like all the way through,
Oh,
uncut,
wow. Uncut, too?
uncut,
Shit.
uncensored.
Nice.
Wait, what year was this when you were a roller rink DJ?
This was 1996. when
Okay,
I- yeah.
dope.
Yeah, and I worked as a roller rink DJ for
Shit,
3
you know what,
years.
dude? I might have been there. Because I graduated in 97, and I was definitely still hitting the roller rink occasionally in my high school years. And I definitely went to Preston.
Damn it,
We
Stefan.
could have had retroactively met a long time ago.
You see, my sister started out as a floor guard over at Skate World J-Town before they closed that down, and she moved over to Preston Highway, and I used to tag along with her a lot. And the owner of the roller rink, Miss Miller, she's passed now.
R.I.P. Miss
Uh,
Miller.
She passed,
See-
she passed a stone.
She
She's dead, Stefan. We're trying to show
gone,
respect.
man.
Shit.
Sorry.
But anyway, she noticed that I was there a lot, so she said, "Hey, since you're here all the time, how about I just go ahead and put you on payroll?" I was like, "Okay, great." So I started working as a floor guard, and I had so much like back experience with the electronic equipment and DJing. There was one day that our DJ did not show up, and I walked in. A couple of the floor guards are up there in the booth, are kind of like looking at the equipment. They don't really know how to run it. They're just sort of like,
Funny.
so they see me coming in. They go, hey, do you know how to run any of this stuff? I'm like, tell me what line goes to what, and we're good. So I pretty much took the reins from that point on as like the full DJ at the rink, and I
That
did
could
that.
have been me, man. My dad was a mobile DJ growing up, and I used to go to all, like, anytime.
I tried with the mobile DJs.
Did you?
They
It's tough. It took my dad a number. I mean, he was doing it before I was born, but by the time I was a kid, he was, I think, number 2 mobile DJ in town. I mean, my dad's an ass buster, man. Like he don't fuck around when he tries to start a business.
And those DJ services, they are sensitive, very, very picky.
Oh,
They
yeah, I
did
can
not
imagine
like
so.
me. They did not like me. So
How could you not like Ed?
gone.
I know.
You're like the best Ed I've ever met.
That's what everybody says.
I haven't met
But
very many.
not
Eds.
all businesses around here really appreciates the Edness.
the ethnicity of
Well,
Ed.
Yes.
Move on with the goddamn story. How does this translate to stand up?
This translates to
Oh,
stand
that was
up.
the question.
I'm here wanting to couple skate now, and I don't know what the fuck's happening.
I've been drinking since noon. How am I here?
This translates to stand up because that was the next avenue after I decided to quit being a DJ. It just seemed the most natural progression. I was like, this is something that I've always wanted to try, and now I've sort of like gotten myself comfortable with being in front of a mic and talking to people. Now I can actually do this. And the first time I ever tried an open mic, I don't know if you're not going to believe this.
I'm ready to not believe.
I bombed terribly. Oh, yeah. Horribly.
Even Brian Barrow didn't bomb on his first open mic.
The first open
Shout
mic the first open mic I did was when I was 21 years old. It was over at Jake and Elwood's Pizza on Breckenridge Lane. It's now known as Saints Pizza.
Wow.
But back then it was called Jake and Elwood's, and
Yep.
they had an open mic, and that's where I decided to give it my first try. And didn't know how to tell a joke, didn't even know how to
Oh,
really...
so you went up fresh.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you didn't even, like, take a class
no,
or anything.
no
You
classes,
just went
no
fresh.
learning, nothing. And it's
Now, let me ask this. Did you have written material, or were you like, I'll wing it?
No, had written.
Okay.
I'll tell you about the one time I tried to wing it later. But no, I had written material, but here's the thing is that when you write a joke, but you don't really know the structure or the format, that was a set where I had to walk out of the place with like my jacket over my head. Just like so ashamed of myself. I couldn't even show my face. Just left. But I started working, I worked at Comedy Caravan back in 2000. That's when I started. And I watched for like 6 months. And I was like, you know what? I'm in an environment now where I can really learn how to do this the right way.
Shout out to Mr. Sobel.
Yeah, shout out.
I don't know that name.
You're too young.
You're too young, man. But yeah, I got up on stage October 2000. October 2000. And I did it for the first time. And I loved it. I've been doing it ever since.
Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love you, dude. And even if there's, for you, you know, in terms of an audience, like if a joke bombs, I'm still laughing at that shit because I think you're hilarious. And that makes me feel weird because that means we have a similar sick sense of humor.
Craig Williams, who is the host of Kill Screen Cinema right here on DNN, he always said about me that what he loved is that even though I knew that I was eating shit, that I would keep a grin on my face.
Oh, yeah.
And just keep plowing through it.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep
I
going.
love that.
So, are you the exact individual where the shit-eating grin phrase came from?
Yeah.
He's
I'd like
a
to
living
think that.
Cheshire cat.
Okay, that's fair.
I have a kinship to the Cheshire Cat. I love the Cheshire Cat.
Well, hey, man, I know when I first started improv like a year ago, I remember you coming to a couple of the, what were they called?
Like the workshops or
Yeah,
open
the
rehearsals?
improv jams.
Yeah, the improv
workshops,
jams and all
yeah.
that stuff, man. I already knew before that from going to Damaged Good shows and all-star shows that you were a stand-up comedian as well. So my question to you is, how would you compare the improv to the stand-up?
I love that these guys are like improv guys and they're reading notes from cards. It's something I don't
Shut up! I've been drinking
Man
since
reads
noon.
from a card.
Listen, if it doesn't happen this way, I end up asking all the questions.
It's very true. He'll be like, so we're 45 minutes in. We got 5 minutes left in the podcast. Brad, did you have any questions?
And I know, I'm not a spotlight stealer on radio, so I guess I'm a mic
Steamroll.
stealer. But yeah, so I'm trying to back myself up a little bit.
we both have our radio bravado, man.
And we want to make you look good, brother.
I always
so.
tell people you got to put on that radio voice if you're going to be on the
It's
mic.
my dad. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Gerhardt's Music Box coming at you.
Whoa.
We got the left, right. We got the ladies. Get out here, get on the dance floor, and we're going to make it smooth.
Wow.
Been mimicking that one. My dad, like I'm going to try to get my dad. He doesn't know this. It's not like he listens, but
That was more like a strip club DJ.
oh,
right
my
there.
dad, man, he's old school, dude, 70s and 80s. But yeah, but I'm gonna try to get him at my wedding in October to try to get him to DJ 2 or 3 songs to see if he'll do it. Because
on,
the
Dad, let's see your
DJ's a
skills.
good friend of mine from high school, and so I'm trying to get him. So I know he'll let me have my dad come up there. But anyways,
Can we get the bride to the dance floor?
so yeah, so you were talking about the comparing improv and stand up because you've had an opportunity to do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So
what I'm sorry, your question.
No,
your
so
question
how
again.
do you compare the two? So improv versus stand-up. How do you compare the two?
Okay, well, here's my basic thing with improv is that I decided that I would try it because, to be honest with you, what Stefan does, what Parker does, what you do, that scares the piss out of me. Absolutely.
understand
I mean, a lot, and I understand that a lot of the improvisers actually feel the same way
Oh, I'm frightened
about stand-up.
This is
Oh,
why
yeah.
I've never done it. It scares the shit out of me. I hate having to write a joke and wait to see if it's funny. Because
see,
in
and-
improv, we're allowed to fail.
You see, and that it's such a fascinating thing, the way we do this, which is the stand-ups. We write a piece of material, and we just cannot wait to get to an open mic and see how this thing is going to go. We write a bit, and we convince ourselves, oh, this thing is going to fucking kill. This is going to be a keeper, and that. We cannot wait to get to an open mic and try it. So you can imagine our devastation when we do it and we have crickets, just nothing. It's like,
Oh, guys, I thought this was funny.
it's like, oh, come on, man, that was a funny joke. God damn it. So you have to take it back into the lab and rework it, and take some words out, put some different words in, rephrase it, and then it's like a Frankenstein's monster by the time you're done with it. It resembles nothing of what it was from the beginning because you've had to switch it around, change it, take out so many words. It's a very rhythmic sort of thing. I can actually tell what joke is going to go over well just by the beat, the pattern of
Crazy.
it.
I took a stand-up class one time, just like an hour workshop, probably like 2004. And the one thing I always remember from it is the guy said, tell your story, and then shrink that story to a minute, shrink that story to 30 seconds, shrink that story to 10 seconds, and you've got your bit. Like, I'll always remember that you need to bring it down to the absolute essence of the joke before you can rebuild it again.
No,
You
I
know?
believe that. Yeah.
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 So
So
you're looking to you've been kind of thinking, Brad, about dipping into stand-up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to get the opportunity to an open mic.
But improv, it really does terrify me. And that's actually one of the reasons that I decided to give it a try, because every once in a while you do have to do something that goes outside of your comfort zone. Whereas as a stand-up, you're on your own against the crowd. Improvisers, you guys are a team.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody like me who is extremely hard to work with, or reportedly hard to work with.
I can quote the one time I did a show with Ed Black. The exact phrase used during a freeze scene was, "This is the most original form of fellatio." And that was it. I was like, I love Ed. I want to work with Ed more.
No, it's interesting because there's a guy, I can't think of his name, but there's a guy that does solo improv, which is a really new trend right now to do solo improv. But the reason he does it is because everybody fucking hated him. Like every troupe he'd been in or theater just was done with him. And he basically said, I have to do solo improv because everybody hates me. And it is true. He's a dick. And he, I remember it now, but I'm not going to mention it. But yeah, there's other guys that do solo improv too. And it's interesting because it's not a one-man show. It's very different the way some people do it, as if they listen as if someone is speaking to them and you're kind of filling in the blanks or stuff like that. But yeah, I love the aspect of the team, because I know like, especially if we trust each other, like I know they're not going to let me fall.
You see, and that's my problem. That's where my little problem comes in, is that one of my oldest friends always says, what your biggest problem is, that you don't trust anybody. Well, that's when it comes to being in a team, is that I know somebody's going to throw out something to me and I'm not going to like it, and I'm going to have to go with it anyway. And I'm just gonna like stand there and stare at Stefan after he throws that line, and I'm just gonna be like, God damn you.
This from the guy who said original fellatio.
The original fellatio.
No, let me ask you this. Speaking of not necessarily teamwork, but like who's your favorite comedian, or the one that inspires you the most? And it doesn't have to be somebody famous, or somebody that kind of was your mentor or something like that. Just who inspired you the most to do comedy?
My number one answer to this question is Christopher Titus. I love Titus. I've seen him live probably about 4 times now. It's because Titus has that storytelling ability, but he has this ability to take this very dark stuff that happened. I mean, I don't know if you know too much about Titus.
I do not.
Okay, so
he's fantastic.
Christopher-
I didn't like him on his show, but I love his
no.
stand-up.
I love the TV show.
Of course
the
you
TV
did.
show. The
But
TV show
I didn't
was
like it, but I love his stand-up.
it was unlike anything on TV at the time because he's delving back into his childhood, showing how his father kind of like raised him as like verbally abusive, alcoholic.
Oh, you're talking about
and-
my father?
Was your father the same way?
Oh, he still is.
And his mother had been in and out of mental institutions like all throughout his childhood. So he always talked about they couldn't really, all throughout the run of the series, they couldn't really secure one actress to come in and play his mother. So every season she was played by a different actress. But he's like, but you know what? With how broken my childhood was and the fact that my mother had this thing going on,
Right.
the fact that we had so many different faces coming in and playing my mother, it fit the narrative.
That's funny. I didn't know that. That makes me want to give it another chance.
But yeah, I mean, Titus, Titus is my inspiration. In fact, God, I'd seen him in concert recently at Kentucky Center for the Arts, and I'm just like, I'm going to open for him one day.
Right.
I'm coming for you, Titus. I'm going to open for you. You just watch.
Yep, we're gonna hashtag Titus a bunch through this podcast.
Oh, please do.
So you can hopefully see it.
Titus, brother.
Ooh, Titus.
This is Bradzilla telling you that Ed Black is coming for
I
that
wanted to
open
bring up
spot.
someone else too that we both know. That is another way we got connected, which is Divinity Rose.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a long time. But I the reason it brings up because I saw your post the other day and it made
Yes.
me think about that. And when we used to do the Sub Rosa shows and like I only became a part of those because I went away from Damaged Goods for almost a year. And then I came back right at the tail end of those shows. But those were so much fun. But I wanted to bring her up because I know she has always been a huge inspiration for you as well. And she's, a Louisville lady.
She is.
So I didn't know if you wanted to spend a second or two to talk about her.
No, I can spend a couple of minutes talking. I mean,
Yeah, she's
you
fantastic.
talk about you haven't seen her in years. I hung out with her. Oh God, where did we go? We went to a club, not a club, but like a church in Indiana.
What?
Was
It was like a church or
It was a
strip
court-
club. I'm not
It was
sure.
It was a courthouse. It was a courthouse in Indiana. And they had a theater, and they were putting on a show, and she got billed for this. And she asked me if I wanted to, if I just want to hang out, tag along. I was just like, oh, okay, sure. So, yeah, we hit the road together, and she did the show. But we originally met back in 2001, and she was one of the first. She was like one of the first friends I made
Yeah, I was
in
about
the
to say,
comedy
that's,
scene.
according to your origin story
Yeah.
there, that's pretty close to when you started.
Yeah, she actually loves the story about how we met, which is I saw her come down the stairs, bright and bubbly, redhead, and she's got this whole posse of people with her, and it just seems like she's, very outgoing and friendly with everybody. I'm just like, no, I got a 50-50 shot here. So I decided to ask her out. She shot me down like right away.
Smart move, Divinity. Smart move.
But it seemed like we sort of like had this partnership, an unspoken partnership anyway, inside in the clubs because we were so mismatched in the way our lives were going. It's like she would it's like she would break up with somebody, I would get with somebody, so I'm going up on stage and doing a lot of relationship humor. She's doing a lot of humor about being single, and I would sort of like call her out during a set. I would.
So you're already doing improv. You didn't even realize it. Making callbacks.
She's been up on stage talking about being single. I go up and start doing this kind of relationship material. And I remember something I said was being, if you can't tell by my friend Divinity and I, what we really have in common is horrible timing. And, and she's sitting in the back of the room. She yells out, "You couldn't handle me." And I'm like, "Oh, try me."
And then you're like, no, really, try me.
Yeah, try me.
Please,
really,
please,
come on.
Please.
But But yeah, she stayed by my side all these years. And
I
then,
love people like that, man, that support you, like, no matter what anybody says, no matter what. I mean, those are the best people in our lives.
And as for the Louisville Sabrosa project, that was a weekly showcase in which we brought in artists from all over. I mean, you know, it wasn't just comedy; it was music, it was poetry, it was improv, visual artists.
Yeah, that's my style, man. I love variety.
Yeah, visual artists and performance. I mean, everybody across the scope, whatever art they did, we brought them all in and brought them under one roof. And she really, at that time, had been out of the comedy scene for a while, so she had no idea what was going on there, but she knew I did. So she brought me in as kind of like a co-producer and asked me to book comedians who she would actually pay to be features on her shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I helped her out with that, and we did that together for like 3-4 years. So it was so much fun, and I miss that aspect too, because a lot of the mics I'm going to now are just comedy mics, and I'm just like, man, it's not like, you know, how it used to be, where, you know, it was comedy, it was music, it was poetry, it was visual art, you know.
Dude, it
was
really has
everything.
become that, though, these days. Like, you don't, like, open mics these days are either music or stand-up. Like,
Yeah.
you don't, hell, you don't even see much poetry ones anymore. But yeah, I haven't seen a good mixed one probably since the Louisville Sabrosa. But I had fun with those, man. Those were cool. I love
Damaged
that
Goods, we had you guys on like a couple of
stuff.
times,
Yeah, a couple
right?
times.
Yeah.
Like, when I got back, I did 2 shows, and they had already been doing them, like, at that point. So, like, because I remember, because one of my favorite shows, it was at a bar in Indiana. I don't remember where it was, but we did one of the shows there, and this guy was just drunk.
Oh, I
And we
remember
did,
that show.
we played Press Release. And Press Release, for those of you who don't know, is one of the improvisers goes out of the room, and we get a celebrity for them to be, and then they have to figure out who they are through the questions we ask. And so Parker, I believe, was who did it, and he was supposed to be Paris Hilton was Paris Hilton. And so we get 2 questions in, and this drunk guy goes, "Hey, so let me tell you first, Paris Hilton. I got a question for Paris Hilton. I got a question." And Parker goes, "Well, we're done here."
Yeah,
I'll never forget.
That's
But that
the end
guy,
of that game.
he applauded so hard because everybody was laughing. He thought it was like that he figured the game out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget that. I think that was the last one we ever did. But yeah, that guy was so hammered. The rest of the show was fine, but like that one, he ruined it. Like,
he thought the name of the game was which person in the crowd first can yell out who you are.
Yep. But I want to get moving on and
Yas,
dig
girl.
into
Moving
the
on.
second bit of your entertainment busy
Yeah.
stuff.
So stand up, improv, skating rink,
DJ.
DJ. I'm guessing the skating rink DJ is really what brought you this next part. The radio. I know you're on the radio. How did all this lead you to the radio, or did the radio lead you to all this?
Yeah,
Ed
and
Black,
give us tell us a little bit about what you do right now in terms of radio for those that don't know you.
Okay.
Uh,
For those who don't know who I am actually the lunchtime DJ on a independent radio station right here in Louisville. It is 100.9 WCHQ FM. We're all local music all the time. I have a shift that's called Lunch Break Live. It is 11 a.m. till 1. And I basically carved out this little block for myself as a 2-hour block of the local and regional rock. Because,
I love it. I listen damn near every day because
Yeah.
I try to get my lunch in between there, especially since the range has gone up on
Yeah.
CHR. Or I'll just listen online if I'm too far out of it. But yeah, I listen. I fucking love listening to you, and it's weird because when you know somebody too, it's extra different. But yeah, shout out, man, CHR, it's good stuff.
You see, and I tend to focus. This is what I tell everybody. I tend to focus on mostly the local and regional rock because we have a lot of Americana, we have a lot of bluegrass, we have a lot of folk. It is Kentucky after all, but I look at Louisville rock as being the ambassadors of the Louisville music scene. Those are the first kind of bands that anybody ever goes out to see and sort of like indoctrinates themselves into the Louisville music scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we need to put a little bit more focus on the rock bands. Let's do a 2-hour block where we're playing mostly the Louisville rock bands, and even ones that are outside of Louisville are gaining traction because of CHQ and the fact that we've been playing their music. I get emails pretty often from the boys at Banshee Child. Shout out to those guys. They were playing a big show out at Nirvana Louisville last night, and they apparently brought down the house.
Nice.
One of the band members got their car towed, but he's okay with it because they rocked Faces last night. He's totally cool with it. And then there's also another group that is out of Brandenburg, Kentucky. I believe it's Brandenburg. They're called Figure Eight, and their lead singer Ryan Sanders, he had emailed me recently and said that it is because of stations like CHQ that we're coming into Louisville later this fall. We're recording a brand new album, and they're going to be working with people who have worked with such bands as the Goo Goo Dolls and Blink-182, bands of that ilk, and they are really psyched about recording a brand new album.
Right, and I mean, in fact, if you listen to our last episode, we had local musician Rob Lee on, and whenever I get a chance, I always request it because I know Crescent Hill will play it. But he talks about Crescent Hill all the time, like that they're such a big supporter of local music, and it's fantastic.
In fact,
and Alpheus is, JD Green. She, just friends of ours. Like, it's great. I love it. And, Damaged Goods did a rap album, but it was, by the time I got done editing all the cuss words out, it was just a long beep. And I was like, this ain't going to work.
That ain't going to cut the mustard. Yeah,
Yep.
we do have to go by FCC regulations. So if you have music that contains curse words, then, you need to make at least a radio-friendly edit.
But yeah, so how'd you get into radio?
It's actually funny is that there was another comic, Janelle Fitzpatrick, who had a show.
Shout out.
Yeah, Janelle.
I loved
You know Janelle.
I actually just talked about her to a lady yesterday.
Janelle had a show on the station for a little while. It was called Laughs on the Hill. I made a couple of guest appearances on that show. It kind of went away, and then it was just like an idle Tuesday. I'm curious as to what's going on with Crescent Hill because I hadn't really heard anything out of it recently. So I'm just kind of like perusing their website, and I'm looking at their schedule of programs, and I noticed that Laughs on the Hill is gone. That's just out. And there was no presence of Louisville comedy on the station at all. So I ended up just emailing the manager, Kathy Weisbach.
Shout out to Kathy.
Shout out to Kathy.
Hey, man, she sponsored Damn Good Improv Festival.
She did. CHQ actually sponsored the Damn Good Improv Festival.
I'll be hitting you guys up again.
So I put in an email to her, and I said, hey, I noticed that you don't have a comedy on the station anymore. Would you mind if I came in and tried something? She didn't know me from Adam at the time.
Right.
But she just went, yeah, sure, okay. And it was just like that. It was just like we came in like that May, and we put together a show, and we did a show called Blacklisted Comedy for 5 years.
I loved it. I loved listening to it, and I loved being on it. I always had such a great time being on there with whether it was with Improv Anonymous or Damaged Goods, or even doing the spinoff with Brian Kennison, like I got to do. That was fun.
Yeah, we actually did a spinoff.
Yeah, Alt List or whatever was that was called.
Yeah, Alt List Radio, and it was funny because just like any other spinoff, it didn't last any more than a year. It's okay though. I love Brian, and that's the reason that I wanted to bring him in the first place and have him do something, is because I love his personality. I love him as a character in himself.
Oh yeah, he'll be on here.
Yeah, so I was like, I need to get Brian Kennison on the station and just have him do something. So that's but Blacklisted, we did that for 5 years, and then I just decided, we're done. We basically did everything that we could do with the show.
Yeah, because it moved from Janelle being with you to Tony.
To Tony
right?
King. Tony King. Shout out Tony King.
Interesting. Now, was there a period where it was just you at all, or was it an instant shift? Because I don't remember the transition.
You know what? There was a small period where I had maybe like guest people come in
Right.
and do, guest hosting spots, but I never really did anything by myself. I just
Gotcha.
didn't think I could do it. So I eventually brought Tony in as a co-host, and I always called us like the most unique pair on the station, which was, no, we really were.
It got really interesting when Tony came on.
I always said that we were the most unique pair on the station because all the other duos on the station, they were all best friends. They were all buds, and me and Tony, we're not that close. So it was more like a big brother, little brother sort of relationship. You're yawning. Am I boring you to death?
No, he's drunk.
Are you
I've been
bored
drinking
already?
Since noon. I
No,
keep
my
yawning.
favorite.
Yawning through my episodes, Stefan.
My favorite. Well, yeah. I mean, so are the people listening. But no, my favorite
Oh.
blacklisted moment was you singing that fucking Thriller song that you'd made up new lyrics for, and then I said to you, man, Ed, that was so funny, and you said to me, yeah, it was cool. I just sang it and hoped the music fit it. Like this man didn't even play music to sing over it.
Nope.
Just.
I just did it. I imagined the music in my head, and I just sang it. Yeah. Oh, it was horrible.
But it was perfect. You know what I mean? Like it was absolutely perfect.
Well, you see, I never really believed in us doing anything perfectly. I'm just like, you know what? We're a comedy show. If it sounds choppy, if it sounds amateurish, then, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, be on the lookout for us. I mean, we're looking to get into radio here in the next couple months to a year. So that's the next step.
Up until then, they're out here in podcast land.
When we're on the
But-
radio, it'll be the station with all the static.
Yes. No, but that brings me into my next question because, you're talking about duos and stuff like that. Well, now you're DJing by yourself. And so
Yeah.
the question I always wonder is what is it like being in the studio alone and talking? Does it ever feel like you're talking to no one? Because, like, it's just you.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think you guys have, like, a phone number where people call in, right?
We actually do have a phone number,
do you?
but I just don't really give
I can
it
never
out.
find it, yeah, because I always want to call. Like that's you'll see me. I'll text you or message you sometimes and be like, hey, blah blah blah. But other times I'm like, I'm busy. I just want to call. What's the damn number? But anyways, yeah. So does it ever feel like you're just there? Like
Well, you see, the thing here, Stefan, is that when you're a comic and you play a lot of these open mic rooms, you're not going to have a whole lot of audience there. So really, that's what being on radio is that you're alone in a room on a mic talking out loud to nobody. And that's what I've been doing for years at the open mic rooms is talking to nobody.
oh, so you're used to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great training for radio. You just go, you know what? This is not so different from what I have
That's
done all
funny.
these years. So it's a very easy transition. And plus, I mean, I recently had to train a new DJ who came in. She's been very, she was very tense from the get-go, very nervous and just, very, self-conscious getting on a mic. And this is the way I always treat it, which is, look, you don't got to be stressed out about this. This is coming in, this is hanging out, playing some tunes, chilling for the next couple hours. It's like, you don't got to be tense. It's like, because I don't treat it that way.
Mm-hmm.
This is just me getting on a mic. We're going to turn the speakers up. We're going to blast some rock, and we're just going to hang out and rock out for the next couple hours.
Yeah.
Feels you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've definitely got that hosting down. Like I said, I love coming in and talking with you and interviewing. It's so much fun doing with the Improv Festival. We'll be back for that, of course.
See, that's where
yeah.
I'm like impressed with you guys actually like writing down questions on cards because Stefan has been in the studio with me and he knows I just tend to kind of like make up things in my head. I already kind of like have some things planned out. There's nothing written.
Which is bad because I'm a going off in tangent type person. Like I've been with you. We've had a couple times where we start here and we end up way off in left field. And we're like, oh yeah, we were talking about the festival.
It
But
keeps us balanced.
But you see, this is something that you learn in radio, which is you learn to rein people in once they're going a little bit too off track because the main point that you want to do is give out the information about the event that is going on. So
Correct.
that's always something that can bring you back. It's like, well, let me cut you off on that story. The Damn Good Improv Festival, it is coming up this weekend at the bar. You know, you can always bring it back just by going back into the event.
Yep.
Who's going to be there? What are we going to see? What's going to happen? Tell us all about it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We got one more question before we get moving on to the next segment.
You know what? Since Ed's been calling out our damn cue cards, I'm just going to read it off the cue card.
Exactly.
So here we go.
Okay.
All right. So, Ed.
He's actually not reading off a cue card. Now it's a teleprompter.
Yeah.
He's got a
We moved
teleprompter
the
in front of him.
teleprompters.
We got extra money between the start of this episode and the end of this episode. Ed, questions for Ed number 6. Do you enjoy stand-up or DJing more? Now, I'm going to ask this like I would actually ask if I wasn't reading off a cue card. Hey, Ed, so you've done a lot of shit, man. It's really impressive. Now, between DJing and stand-up, which one do you find yourself drawn to the most?
That is a good question, and I thank you for it, citizen.
Thank you. Yeah. Citizen, what the fuck?
Cons-
I'm the president of Zilla.
Constituent.
You sort of asked it the first time like he's one of those people like
Yeah.
a town hall forum.
Mr. President.
When it comes to immigration,
And now I'm going to take a thing from Ed and be like, all right, I'm going to draw the conversation back in. So, Ed, which one do you like more?
oh yeah, sorry, tangents, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We're learning.
I'm
We're
glad you're
learning.
here, Brad.
To be honest with you, I would have to say stand up is the first love. It's something that you try to quit, but it keeps drawing you back in. It's the most perfect drug. Because you can't get enough of that fire in your veins. You know, the night that you actually go up in front of a crowd and you take control of that crowd and they laugh at just about every joke and your timing is just on it. You're just on it and you just kill. I mean, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, improv's the same. I mean, I used to do musical theater. I used to do musicals. I used to do plays. And then I found myself only doing improv. Like, there is something about making people laugh. I don't know what it is, man. Like, it's better than that applause after a good play that you've been in. And I've had some good applauses. But, man, making people, a whole crowd laugh. Because same thing with improv. When your timing's right, you guys are on the same page, and you're just enmeshed with the audience. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful when it happens, and like I mentioned before, it's absolutely devastating when it doesn't work out. You know, but it's
I don't know what that's like.
But it's always one of those things. Yeah, sure you don't, Stefan. You've never had one of those nights ever in your life.
No.
But yeah, I mean it is the most perfect drug. You just keep coming back for more, no matter how much shit you have to take off somebody, no matter how much heartbreak because a joke didn't work out, no matter how many times you keep going back to the well and trying to rewrite a joke to make it perfect, there's just something about when it finally does, when it finally clicks, or even when that first joke, maybe you've never tried it out before. You don't know how it's going to go, and it kills. There's just something about that. There's nothing that can match that energy that
That's
you feel.
fantastic.
And
Well,
would you...
go ahead.
I have this one is not on cue cards, but so you know, as Stefan mentioned earlier, I've been trying to kind of look into branching into the stand-up realm. Of
Are you
comedy as well.
interested?
I do. I
Am I
am.
watching a drug deal
Hell?
happen here?
He did say it's like a drug, so I'm
What
wondering
can
how
I-
I get it.
What can I get you, man?
I don't
Got
want
some
it.
Mike's coming up.
I don't
So
want it.
straight up, brother, this is just a straightforward opinion / question / whatever you want to make it.
Am I funny?
I know I'm fucking funny. So one of the biggest things is I've seen some people out there at the open mics that go up and you can tell they're trying to be funny, and it's because they're trying to appease the audience. Have you always felt that your success comes from trying to appease yourself first when it comes to stand-up, and instead of trying to create material that's going to appease an audience that you don't know yet?
I honestly have never. I can honestly say I've never created a piece of material that I thought would appease an audience.
It appeases yourself first.
Yeah, it appeases myself because we always thought the best kind of jokes were jokes that were unique to who we are as people.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be the only person who is able to tell this certain joke. You know, there's going to be no other comic who has experienced what you have gone through in your life. That's why we don't really get it when somebody wants to go up on a stage and plagiarize somebody else's work. It's like, come up with something that is you.
Yeah.
Come up with something that actually is based on your life, because you want to be the only person who is able to tell this story. You know, so that's always what I want to get to, is like Christopher Titus told me, if people feel like you're telling them the truth, they'll follow you anywhere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Real recognizes real.
Yeah, so that was something, and that's something that
Look at me
I
with your
strive
deep
for.
eyes, Brad.
I'm looking at you super deep. Real recognizes real, Stefan.
I
Damn it.
felt it.
Well, let me ask you this question then.
Yes.
All right, so you're interested in doing stand-up.
I am.
So are you creating material for stand-up? Or are you really like considering giving it a shot?
I have written nothing physically down. It's all in my head.
Let me tell. Okay, this is a nugget. This is a nugget of wisdom that I can pass on. This is written down.
This
in
nugget
comedy
is brought to
books.
you by Ed Black.
Yeah, no, actually, this is brought to you by the Comedy Bible.
The Comedy
This
Bible.
is brought to you by the
Is
Comedy
that a
Bible.
book I can get on Amazon? Because I
Yes, it
want
is.
I'm
Yes,
going to buy
is.
it.
You can buy the Comedy Bible on Amazon. But this is a piece of advice.
And this is not a sponsored ad.
No, it is not. It is not. When you're considering doing stand-up, especially for the first time, but you haven't gotten anything written down, go ahead and book your gig. Go ahead and book it.
I like
Because you know what? That is going to force you to write material. You have a date coming up. It's 3 weeks from now. Do you know 3 weeks from now you're going to be up on a stage, on a mic, alone, by yourself up on stage, and you're going to have to deliver material whether you're ready or not. So it forces you to come up with something
Ain't
to say.
wrong.
Stefan, I'm going to have to go ahead and leave the podcast. I'm gonna be gone for a couple months. I'll be back later. I got material.
Nice. Well,
Dude,
we're
I
gonna
appreciate that so much. Thank you.
we're gonna get moving on to the next segment. But before we do that, we want to showcase one of our ads from one of the other shows on the DNN. So check it out.
Hi, I'm Jimmy. And what's more self-important than a bunch of guys talking about nerdy stuff on a podcast? One guy talking about nerdy stuff and actually filming it. Yes, boys and girls, my YouTube show, This Is a Thing You Could Get, is now available on the DNN network. I talk about toys, cereal, and lots of other nostalgic things that the internet will tell you is not as good as you remember. Well, go to bed, internets. You're drunk. Don't miss This Is a Thing You Could Get, because it's online. And now, back to more talking.
All right, so we're back. Thanks
excited.
again, Ed, for being here.
Thank you, thank
Before
you.
we're running a little long, so usually before every show, I ask the guy, "Hey, or gal, do you want to play Would You Rather with us or improv?" And Ed said, "Whatever." And so since
I'm
we're
so
running a little
cool.
low on time, we're gonna go with Would You Rather because I love our discussions. And if we still have like a minute or two, we might play some Ring My Bell or something. But we're gonna go ahead and this is Would You Rather. Okay, so you haven't played Would You Rather with us, but no is never an answer, and neither is death. So you have to answer no matter what, and you have to justify your.
No or death. Those are
Those
the
are
only things I
classic
can't
Parker
say.
Bowles answers.
Oh, okay.
And so we had to say that you can't do that anymore. And
Brian Barrow has just entered the room, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up,
Brian
mofo?
Barrow is here.
what's up? We
I
actually-
touched his butt a little
We
bit
actually
when he
talked
sat
about
down.
you. We
Fucking
actually,
Christ, this is Brian O'Malley.
Oh,
With
Brian O'Malley.
weather on the 7, it's fucking snowing out there.
Is
Is
it really?
snowing out there?
Holy Christ, it's snowing in spring.
Oh boy! Yay!
Weather on the 7.
The weather on the 7, ladies and gentlemen. Brian O'Malley.
Yeah.
Is that all you wanted, Brian? All right, I'll see you later.
With the weather
Hey,
forecast.
that's
Where's
great.
my hug?
That's great. We didn't have a non DNN ad, but we did have a weather segment. But no, back to Would You Rather. No, is not an answer. Neither is death.
Okay.
So let's get to the first one. All right. The first one is okay. Would you rather Get a paper cut between your fingers every time you touch paper, or bite your tongue every time you eat something.
Oh,
man. I would go.
I'm already cringing on both.
Yeah, no, that's a hard choice. You know what? You can always wear gloves, so I think I'll go.
Yeah, but you're still gonna get cut.
Regardless.
Listen, man, these things are magical. All right, it's gonna cut through the glove.
So at what point in this would Parker answer death?
Oh, he's already like, no, I'm dead. Like if it was like, would you rather be covered in spiders or be stuck outside on a 90-degree day? And he'd be like, death.
I actually think I have an answer for this.
Yeah, I do too. I think I do too. What do you got?
I would rather get the paper cuts on the fingers.
Oh,
And the reason for that,
in between, dog.
I would rather have that happen because
It never heals.
That's like a constant thing. Only when you touch paper, you can prevent yourself from touching paper. If you're biting your tongue every time and you make your tongue bleed, like myself, I love spicy food. I like ketchup, stuff like that.
God.
Every time you
Orange
eat it,
juice.
that's gonna make those.
And
those
you're right.
bites
You
burn.
have to eat, but you don't have to use.
You don't have to touch paper, especially a lot of jobs now. They're all computerized.
God damn you, Brad.
See, and that's what I was gonna say.
Bullshit, Ed. Bullshit. I was totally gonna say the tongue, man. Now I'm like, I'm questioning.
No, I'm going with the paper cuts, man. I was thinking that from the
Shit,
get-go.
I didn't even think. Well, yeah, I guess you were because you tried to use the glove issue.
I want to know what
can
If
always
the
wear
gloves
reasoning
don't
is.
fit, we must have quit. Chewbacca is a Wookiee.
Must quit.
But yeah, no, man, God, it's just, I was thinking about the pain levels and like, God, those tiny
They're both
sharp pains
excruciating.
are the worst. But I had, before I got my wisdom teeth out, like I had one of my wisdom teeth was just a hair crooked. And so I've got scar tissue all along the left side of my cheek.
Ooh.
So it's something I'm kind of used to. I know the tongue is a different beast, but man.
That's what she said.
Oh. Yeah, God, man. I'm going to have to go with the hands as well.
He just said that.
If you would have let me go first, I would have said tongue, but I'm going to have to go with the finger. That
The
just
paper
sounded really
cut
close.
wins.
The paper cut wins.
Yeah.
All right. Here's one. I pulled this one out of my own brain,
Ass.
so be ready for this one. All right, so would you rather...
Here we go.
Would you rather be forced to dance naked in front of your parents and whole family, or be forced to watch your parents and whole family dance naked in front of you?
Well, as a stand-up, there's really no lengths that we won't go to for material. So, but I've always been the silent observer. So I think I'd have to go with the family. Yeah.
And see, I'm the spotlight whore. So I'd probably do. I am.
He's
I am
up there in
unashamed.
front of the family, shaking his groove
Yep.
thing.
Shake your groove thing. Shake your groove thing, belly. What about you, Brad? You want to go naked, or do you want your family to go naked? Now, we've discussed in an earlier episode, though. You've already seen your parents get it on a videotape, so you've kind of been there.
Yeah, and this seems like a pretty easy choice by now. Yeah.
I would just like to say that I would much rather be the naked one dancing in front of family, because I know even though that judgment will be passed swiftly, it will be gone very quickly. I would much rather dance naked in front of my family.
Naked.
Naked.
And I'm pretty sure all of them have seen me naked at some point anyway. Pool parties, cookouts. You get enough PBRs in Bradzilla, this is what's going to happen.
Dance naked in front of family.
I just, this says a lot about who
Hey,
we
Grandma,
are.
look!
It says a lot about who we are, because you got to get drunk to do it. And it's like, I'll watch. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do it for free. Hi, sis. Hi, bros.
Look, this is what Mom and Dad made.
Helicopter. Didn't get that from
dick.
Dad, Mom? No?
Helicopter dick.
Okay.
Shout out to Lonely Island.
All right, well, let's do one more question.
You got one more for us?
I got
Let's
one more.
get crazy. Come on.
All right.
Hit me.
Would you rather have sex with a goat, but no one ever knew about it,
Well-
or not have sex with a goat, but everyone is sure that you did?
I like the latter. I like the latter one.
You like the latter, you sick fuck. Get off our show.
Well, it's because of the fact that I that was the only way that I could ever consider myself an attention whore, was that I loved the days when there were rumors spread around about me, but I would never really deny or confirm whether they were true. So I think I would go with that. I would just let everybody think it and go.
So that
You
rumor,
know, it's
There's
between
goat
me,
fucker.
that rumor about you and
between
the
me,
dragon,
me, the wall,
is
and the
real?
goat. Really,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God. Here's the thing. It's bestiality. I don't even know that I could get it up to have to do it. You know, I mean, it's like, is the universe handing
Gun
you
to your head, could you?
gun to? No, that would make it even worse. I would not be able to get it up with a gun to my head. But I'm like, I feel like the
What
universe.
if you're into that?
The universe just gives you what are those pills?
Dick.
The dick pills? The boner
universe has
pills.
given
Viagra.
Boner
Viagra.
pills.
And this podcast is sponsored by.
boner
Dick
pills.
pills. Yeah, no. I don't want to be known as goat fucker. Like, yes, I'm a comedian, but I want to be other things, and I don't want that to be my 15 minutes of fame.
But would you love that as a credit for when you go up on
Yeah,
stage?
isn't goat fucker better than nothing?
It depends on how it's taken.
You may have seen him at the Bardstown. You may have seen him at the Alley Theater. You might have seen him in the alley screwing a goat.
And now in L.A., you get to see the goat fucker live.
Live from Billy Goat Strut Alley.
Or better yet, watch when the tables turn and it's Stefan's turn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with. Sorry, Sarah. I'm gonna go with fuck a goat and nobody knows. And sorry to my friend Cindy who has 5 goats. I'm sorry.
And he calls me the sick fuck.
Right? Like, my answer just seems like too thought out now. Shit.
What is it, bro?
Well, here it is.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to his
I
yet.
know.
Yeah. What's up, baby? I would rather everybody think I fucked a goat, but I never did, because that would make incredible vlog material. Like, I can already think about 6 episodes now of people being like, I know you fucked a goat. Me, but like, but I didn't.
Well, I mean, if everyone's sure you did, there's probably evidence that you did, even though you didn't, which if you're in a state where bestiality is illegal.
Bestiality.
Illegal.
What were those noises?
This summer, Brad, bestiality, illegal.
In theaters this summer.
One night only. Stefan Gearhart, Ed Black present to you a 2-man show, Goat Fuckers.
Goat fuckers. So basically, I'm
never
the only
getting
one
sponsors.
actually fucking a goat, but you guys, everybody thinks you did. So,
We're never getting
Hey, you're the-
sponsors.
you're the
I'm
guy-
leaving.
Hey, you're the guy who wants to get up and dance naked in front of his family for free.
Done it before, do it again.
yeah, I'll do that,
Why
but I
not?
won't fuck a goat. No.
Why not fuck the goat for free, too?
right,
Hey,
wait.
family, if you'd like the dancing, watch this.
All right, I'm going to do one more quick one. This one's not a dirty one, but it's just a fun kitty type one. But, all right,
keep
would
it
you rather,
yours.
this will be quick so we can get out of here, but would you rather have hiccups for the rest of your life or always feel like you're about to sneeze but can't?
Oh,
Fuck you.
man. Damn. You see, the hiccuping for the rest of my life, that would really affect my stand-up, but I absolutely hate that feeling of the sneeze building, and it just will not.
I feel like it would affect stand-up too, because
Yeah.
you'd be like, and then I was with her.
But you know what? Really, when you think about it, a well-placed hiccup in a set probably could get you a couple laughs.
Probably.
Before it becomes annoying.
The problem I have is that, man, hiccups, when you've had them for more than 10 minutes, they hurt. They just
Yeah, they
fucking
hurt.
hurt. But at the same time, God, never actually sneezing and always just being riding that edge.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably hyperventilate.
I think I'd have to go with hiccuping. Yeah.
Hiccuping, yeah, me too. I think I might have to go with hiccuping because I think with Hiccuping, at least you know what's coming. Like with the sneeze, you're always set to think you're going to sneeze. And so with the hiccuping, I feel like I can just figure out a new way to speak.
You see, and also with hiccuping, you could probably control it the way we can control stuttering.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Which you just learn some self-control about it.
You use it to your advantage and learn a new way to speak.
Yeah.
So I also go with hiccups.
I would rather go with the sneezing part.
The not sneezing?
The not sneezing, just so everybody is like, hey, I have a question for you, Brad. 1 second, I'm like, hold on a sec.
You could literally
I'm gonna be back
out
a
of
minute.
everything.
Yes, you could. You'd be like, hey, so we're gonna need you to come in on Saturday. Can we get a definite? Hold on. I'll be right back. And you just walk away and you leave for the day.
You got the goat fucking sneeze guy over there.
I didn't fuck them. They just said I did.
I just feel like with that guy, you would just need to always be around him with like a raincoat or splash guard or something.
Or the fucking Gallagher.
It's like man, when that thing actually comes, it's gonna blow everywhere.
It finally happened. So what does it mean? So if you're the guy that's always about to sneeze, on the day that you die, are you finally going to let that sneeze out?
Yeah, I feel like that's how you die.
Yeah, that one last sneeze is like, oh, that's it.
And I feel like it's the opposite with the hiccups. You stop, and it's like, you've got like loud music that's really, really loud, and it drives you fucking nuts. It's going for 3 hours. They finally turn it off, and you're like, fuck, I need that loud music back. Like, that's what it would be like. You'd stop hiccuping, and you'd fucking shoot yourself because you stopped hiccuping because you can't take it anymore.
This got a lot deeper than I think it needed to.
On that note, let's get out of here.
Deeper and darker.
Let's get out of here. Thank you so much, Ed Black, for coming out.
Hey, thank you, guys.
This is your opportunity to plug anything that you've got, shows, your radio show, any of that shit. Now
Cell phone chargers, just plug them all in.
I got a couple things coming up, which, of course, catch me 100.9 WCHQ. It is 11 a.m. to 1 Monday through Thursday. It's called Lunch Break Live. Tune in with me. It's 2 hours of rocking out with local and regional rock right here from the Louisville area. So tune in every Monday through Thursday. We just chill, hang out, rock some tunes.
Tell us that station again. What's that station?
100.9 WCHQ-FL.
Love it.
And then also coming up May 20th over at the Caravan Comedy Club here in Louisville.
Not to be confused with the Comedy Caravan.
Same location, similar name.
Confused. There is what is called the Big John Invitational. Now, Big John Richardson was a very big name in the Louisville comedy community, and he has moved out to Evansville. He's been going through a lot of health issues recently. So myself, Brad Lanning, Jamie Utley, David Bazanis, Cleveland Jackson, we have all been invited to do a show in honor of Big John, and that is going to be taking place that Sunday, May 20th, over at the Caravan Comedy Club. And I believe tickets for that are $15, but it's going to be a hell of a show.
Do you guys have an event set up? If you do, make sure to send that to us, something, and
it's actually on my Facebook page, and I can share that with you.
Yep, we will absolutely share that.
You said May 20th, right?
May 20th, yeah.
It's
a Sunday night.
Sunday, what time?
I believe it's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
Are you going to be fucking a goat?
No.
Well, that's
Big
weird,
John would never condone that.
We all know you guys did. So
what's the admission to get into that event?
I think it's $15. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to make sure that if not myself, then Zilla in the entirety of me and Stefan will be there that night.
Yep.
Okay.
Make sure we support.
Absolutely.
And also, one other thing, the Tim Northern Comedy Festival is coming up right here in the Ville. It is going to start May 30th, goes through June 2nd. It is going to be a week-long celebration of comedy right here in the Ville.
Wow.
Comedians are going to be spread out over different venues, performing comedy all over the city. The Caravan, of course, will also be at the Bardstown. Mm-hmm. There are going to be shows held at Glassworks. And there is a big event coming up in the Tim Northern Comedy Festival, which is going to be the roast of Daryl Isaacs at the Ice House.
Yes, I'm going to be there.
He looks like a fat vampire. Like fat. We used to call him
Fuck,
Fatula.
Stefan has the whole show. Damn it.
Well, Stephanie's here to stock them big trucks.
That's it. That's all I'd have.
So yeah, there you go. Tim Northern Comedy Festival, and come and catch us at the Big John Invitational May 20th at the club.
Absolutely, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
You know, we need to get some improv back in the caravan. I need to get back in a hold with her again. I'd love to get Zilla in there.
Make them laugh till they pee
For sure.
themselves.
But
Or
no,
fuck
thank you
jokes.
so much, Ed, like I said, for coming out.
Thank
We'll
you
be
guys.
sharing all that information.
Hell yeah.
With the Louisville Improv Collective, we've got a show coming up St. Patty's Day. So if you're listening, it's probably tomorrow at the Bardstown, 1801 Bardstown Road at 7:30. And it's going to be a fantastic show. It's one of our all-star shows. So it's going to be Brad and I, as well as Alpheus Green and the extremely beautiful and talented Rachel Allen.
Yes,
So they're going to be there, and it's going to be a hell of a show, as well as for you Southern Indianers.
Oh, we got some shit.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We're going to be at Mama's Pizza in Jeffersonville. Starting our
good.
show. We're going to be doing shows there every third Sunday of the month at Mama's Pizza. It's $10 to get in, and then or $5 for kids. It will be family friendly, so you can bring the kids too. Kiddos under 13 or $5, and Mama puts on a sweet buffet for $7.99 or $4.99 for kids. And her pizza is literally the best south of Chicago.
It has
Like-
literally been described as just as good as original Chicago style.
Yeah,
pizza.
she actually does a Chicago style pizza. And it's really
And
good.
I've had it personally, and I've been to Chicago and had like their original there. Taste,
Yeah,
like
Mama's-
there's almost not a difference. It's amazing.
Mama's is amazing, and I'm a big fan of just the original crust
Oh, the
as
original's
well.
so good.
But yeah, come on out to those. We'll be there March 18th, April 21st, and then just look for us, man. Zilla's making some moves. Make sure to watch Zilla vlogs. Listen to the podcast, share, like, review wherever you're listening, and tell the world. And on top of that, catch y'all on the flip side.
Keep it Gucci, fam. Woo!
Bye, Ed.
Bye.
Stefan and this guy.
Thank you for listening, DNN.